Prova, prova, prova. Faccio una prova dalla cabina d'inglese. Sentite? Prova, prova, prova. Prova, prova, prova. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite you to take your seats. The event will start soon. Thank you. Good evening. Please take your seat. We're slightly late, so we would like to start in order to let you have dinner at a decent time. Well, actually, we would like to apologize for having this event so late in the afternoon. But actually, we wanted to start with an event where we have an audience here with us. Actually, well, we're here because we applied in April 2020 as a UNESCO city. And well, this was thanks to the private and also the public authorities and the private sector. And obviously, this is very important. This application is very important for the city. The city thinks that the creative sector, creative industries are a very important driver for our economy, but also, well, it is very important to have a dialogue between the scientific knowledge, innovation, digital innovation, technological innovation, and culture. So just to use a slogan, Modena is a city where an IT expert an artist, an economist, find all of them, they find fertile ground for their future. So before starting this event, before introducing for the first time the video that launches this, path of Modena towards Paris, together with the municipality of Como. By the way, I'd like to thank them for being here. Well, I would like to greet all of you here, obviously. And now we have a video from the Emilia-Romagna regional authorities. They couldn't be here, so I'd like to ask our technicians to show the video by Mr. Mauro Felicori. I've always supported the application of the municipality of Modena to join the World UNESCO network of creative cities from the very first moment. Why that? For several reasons, mainly because the concept of creative city is a very promising concept for the future of our cities. Our cities will have a brilliant future of economic development only if they are creative cities. Creativity now is a key factor for the production of goods and also for services. So those are cities that put creativity at the very center of their development program are the ones that are going to win in the future. The other ones will just fall down. So the municipality of Modena has made this choice. Of course, I supported this choice from the very first moment. And also, secondly, UNESCO is a world entity which is particularly powerful in Asia, above all China, Japan, Korea. They all see UNESCO as a fundamental player at international level. So UNESCO really is a unique chance for those ambitious cities that want to have international relations. And today they're looking at Asia as the new world to have a dialogue with. And also, thirdly, media arts is a very strategic field for the future of culture. Media arts by itself, is quite of a liquid concept, but mainly I would say that media arts is the digital application for all arts. And we know that, the digital world is fundamental for all those that deal with culture nowadays. And not just culture, but actually, the digital revolution is the key topic nowadays, especially for us that deal with culture. So lastly, the fourth reason why I totally join this commitment by the municipality of Modena is that Modena is twinned with the European capital of media arts, namely the city of Leeds. So this twinning project can be even more useful, even more productive, and therefore we have to do all the best in order to be sure that Modena and Emilia-Romagna continue collaborating with Leeds. So best wishes to the municipality of Modena, to the city of Modena. And I was very lucky to work for 1 year for the foundation of Modena and for the Sant'Agostino project. That is a very important project. Well, I'd like to invite to the stage for some other institutional greetings. And actually, they are not really just institutions. The president of the Modena Foundation and the mayor of Modena. institutions that are also partners of the project, of course. Well, it's up to you if you want to sit down, or you can also stand. Well, you know, it's nice to have you here. Obviously, the foundation is a strategic partner of the project. Obviously, also Mauro has mentioned the project. Well, together with the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia, we know that we're doing all this in order to recover from such a difficult period, thanks to innovation, also cultural innovation. Thank you, Andrea. Good afternoon to all of you. Well, greetings to all of you. Also, it's nice to see you, Mr. Mayor. And, this is a very important project. This is a very important chance. We're all very excited about the application of Modena as a UNESCO Creative City. I think that creativity is actually part of the DNA of this city. It is really one of the main distinguishing features of Modena. Modena has always considered innovation and testing new things as part of its roots. Well, I'd like to greet all of you on behalf of the foundation. Obviously, you know that our foundation is not just a foundation aimed at providing economic financial resources to the city of Modena and its population, but actually we have been trying to support projects, some innovative projects, and this is quite consistent with the role that we wanted to play at a national level. So I think that we have been playing this role as partners in this project. We want to be part of a teamwork, and obviously we wanted to support from a financial point of view. We want to support this project, but the main objective is to support the competitiveness of this territory. I think that foundations, fondazioni, have the privilege to be able to promote new experiences and new experiments. We're quite lean, quite agile from the organizational point of view. And this is our privilege. This is why we have to feel the responsibility to keep on going. And also, we want to be active within this context. In the last few centuries, there were some changes, maybe one change every 50 years. In the last few decades, every 5, 6, 7 years, there's a real change, turnover in the technological field. And we know that these transformations have an impact on cultural, social transformations of our communities. We are now before some huge transformations, especially in the digital field. Probably also the green transformation is the main one for the future of our communities. And this green transformation is supported by digital technologies. We're going towards blockchain, artificial intelligence, and we know that some jobs, some professional tasks are changing totally. In the past, these jobs were very complex, and they were just for experts, highly qualified staff. Thanks to these technologies, these jobs are changing completely. So this is why we have to think about our strategies, how to keep support our communities, in order to have inclusive communities And for sure, the first strategy is creativity. Of course, we need creativity in order to find the solutions for a new dialogue between nature and the human beings. We need creativity in order to apply and use the power of the digital transformation. We need creativity in the field of culture in order to promote democratic inclusion that has always been a characteristic of Modena and our territory. And then there's also another strategy, which is not just knowledge by itself, but actually referring to the ability to keep on learning. So continuous learning for our people and young people. In the future, we will have a very complex challenge in terms of being trained, updated. If you want to find a job in the future, you will have to be very well trained and you will have to learn continuously. You will need to have a lifelong learning. This is what we're trying to do with the University of Modena. We're trying to support our community in order to face these challenges. We're doing it at AGO. Thanks to our university, thanks to the Fondazione, we're trying to integrate humanitarian knowledge together, humanistic knowledge with scientific knowledge. We're also doing it together with a FAM that is supporting our territory too, in order to work for the young people, help the young people in a dynamic way so that young people learn what their passions are in order to support them in understanding what their talents and their passions are. I think this is fundamental for the future of our community because, this is a very big challenge for the future. Culture is a tool for democratic growth. Culture is a tool for social inclusion. Digital technologies are a very powerful tool in order to improve the communities of tomorrow. These are the main reasons why the Fondazione di Modena has joined the proposal by the municipality of Modena. And we're doing our best in order to support this project. Competition is very tough, but I think that altogether we can guarantee a very brilliant future for our community. Thank you. Thank you, Paolo. This is exactly what we're doing. And now I'd like to introduce our mayor. Actually, I'd like to quote the mayor, deep roots, but always looking at the future. We know that, Modena has long-lasting traditions in the manufacturing sector, and we're also trying to, present Modena as a city that has a very deeply rooted culture that also has an international look to the future. Well, Mayor, the floor to you. Well, first of all, good evening to all of you. Thank you, Councillor. Thank you to the President of the Fondazione. And also thanks to all those people that have decided to choose the future. Thanks to all those people that are working for the future. We are trying to look at the future of our community. And, digital innovation, artificial intelligence, new cultural projects, technologically advanced projects applied to music, arts, theater, training. Well, this is the heart of the application of Modena to the UNESCO Cities for Media Arts. Well, yesterday evening, we were at the Chamber of Commerce of Modena. We presented our urban plan for Modena. And as part of that plan, actually, I defined that plan as the puzzle of a very innovative system. but always preserving our tradition. So as part of that plan, we have the plan for young people, for the welfare, for green areas, for mobility. So we always are thinking about our post-COVID situation. We're thinking about the future. This is a major challenge. And as I said, as well as the very high quality of that plan. And tomorrow we're going to introduce it in our town hall. And after 4 years, we will start with a total participation of our citizens. And yesterday, we were at the Chamber of Commerce, as I said, and I said something quite important. I said, this will be our major challenge in order to build the city of the future. There's only one condition. Well, considering that in the past we had different plans, but now we're going to have just one plan, one strategy for this city. And above all, architects, engineers, by themselves will not be able to design the new city of Modena. The new projects for our new city will only be successful only if we manage to have them work together with scientists, so together with scientific knowledge, social knowledge, philosophy, and very soon we will have our philosophy festival starting on Friday with a very clear message about freedom. So again, as I said, a very complete message in order to create the city of investments, of course, but the city of investments that are considering the conditions of employment, high quality employment, and also ecological transition, digital transition. These are our challenges at the moment, and they will be part of social cohesion. Social cohesion will keep on being one of the main pillars of our system. So today, I'd like to say one more time that we've been thinking about all of it. And Modena is very well known as the place of creativity, the place of talent, freedom of the arts. And at the moment, we are committed to using the ideas of the Italian PNRR, the National Plan for Resilience, in order to redesign our city and resilience and recovery, by the way, sorry. And we're now implementing a project for young people. We're using an area in the city. We're going to create a center for music and social events. So, we're also working in order to create the new headquarters of ERT. We will also have not one theater, but actually 2 theaters. So Modena will have not just one theater, but actually 2 theaters. And the new theater will host 320 people. So as I said, we're trying to have all the infrastructure, all the structures that are necessary in order to raise the bar even more. So trying to win from the technological point of view, we have the data center, we have the innovation in the automotive sector, as you all know. So we're working from many different points of view, because this is the future. And thanks to all these things that we're doing, and also thanks to our roots of Pavarotti, Enzo Ferrari, well, we're trying to remember our past. We're trying to remember our traditions, but of course we're working also in order to support tourism and in order to support young talents. As the councillor said, we've been selected together with the city of Como, and I know that here in the room with us we also have the deputy mayor of Pesaro. Well, probably he's having an interview at the moment. So, the deputy mayor of Pesaro is very talented. But anyhow, I'd like to thank the city of Pesaro, of course. There's a whole system that is collaborating, that is working together. So we want actually the country of Italy to be winning. It's not just Modena, it's the entire country. If we manage to be there, up there, where you're able to measure yourself with other countries, where you ensure the continuity of quality, the real challenge for us, is to be able to be part of UNESCO Media Arts, of course, and not just to show that we are good today. If we manage to join UNESCO, of course, things will be harder for us because we will have to keep the level very high, and also our quality will have to be very consistent and continuous. This is the real challenge. It's not easy. It won't be easy, but we're ready to take this responsibility. Also, the new administration will keep this responsibility. So, this city is, ranks among the first cities in Italy in economic terms. So we are drivers. We're driving the entire country from the economic point of view. We have also tried to create a new dialogue with our citizens. We have tried to do some teamwork that will attract some new investments in the future. In the next few months, we will see what happens with the Sant'Agostino Estense, and we also made some other strategic choices for this city. The former Fonderie Riunite will also be restored. And again, as I said, we're trying to create new opportunities, high quality opportunities for this city. This means that we're able to do it all. So again, I think that this widely spread culture and also our ability to use a lot of energy, and we've also invested in digital innovation. We've invested in culture, and also we have from Modena. We have our champion, national champion Cucchiari. And also from the health point of view, well-being in terms of safety, and also in terms of the arts. We are champions in Modena. And also next week, for example, just after the Festival of Philosophy, we will have the Smart Life Festival. That will be another very important moment. This is just to say that Modena is really growing. And we are really becoming the city of the festivals. This is clearly a big commitment for us. Also from the economic point of view, I'm looking at you because, we need you, of course, from the economic point of view. But, if there's a problem somewhere in Italy, they immediately think, let's call Modena. They will give us some suggestion. So we feel the responsibility at a national level. People look at us as a reference city. We're a point of reference for the entire country. So, we are deeply committed, but we know that after the difficulties of the pandemic, we are now recovering, and culture is back again. And also, we are recovering from the economic point of view. What I'd like to say is that Modena was never afraid of the future. And even during the most difficult times, just like the time we've just gone through, we're still here, we're still together. We are restarting again. Actually, we are speeding up. And this is a cultural operation. This is a cultural revolution for our city. And it is part of our town plan, cohesion. This is a city that looks at the future. But at the same time, we are deeply rooted in our traditions. I'd like to conclude now, thanking the organizers. Thank you. Thanks to the municipality, the entire municipality, of course. And, regardless of the final result, since we want quality to be very high, we will keep on working. We want to be, we want to work actively. We want to represent our community, and we want to create new opportunities. So as Vasco Rossi says, we have to work for a better future. Let's do it. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, President. And we have a video, a preview of a video. So now let's present for the first time, as I said, let's watch, this preview. This is the video that is a very important video for the application of Modena as a candidate city to UNESCO Media Arts. I'd like to thank all those people that have been working for this video. You know, it's not easy to sum up, to make a video in order to summarize the past, the present, and future of Modena. As we said, there are very important projects for the future of Modena. Well, as you can see in the logo, you see the Roman castle, the yellow. These are the symbols of Modena. So as I said, it's not easy to sum up within just a video that lasts only a few minutes. It's not easy to show what our city is. Anyhow, you will see this video that is a summary of our city, the collaboration among many institutions, associations. You will see the cultural, artistic heritage of Modena. And throughout this video, we tried to show what Modena is. We have also decided to hold this meeting today with a real audience, and together with ERTE and also the other cultural institutions, we're now having our summer events, and also we will have the Festival of Philosophy. So this is just, the evidence of the fact that we are trying to work very hard. We are doing an excellent teamwork. And so now let's watch the video. So can we please show the video, and then we will start our dialogue. We will talk more about our future and creativity. Thank you.
So once again, I think that images are so important, maybe more important than words, aren't they? So I really would like to thank, well, our friends, and we can, start this talk right away without further ado. This is a sort of a debate with different speakers that I think we can start off right now. Thank you. Okay, so we're now ready with our mics. Okay, well, it must be difficult for engineers to get the limelight on the stage. Anyway, we have a cross-contamination of knowledge and languages. So should we start 06? Should we start with our young boys? Okay, you know what? Donatella is the icebreaker. So Donatella knows the way this, let's say, system works, knows the timeline and the schedule for tonight. So she talked about the FEM together with Mr. Cavicchioli and the mayor. So this is the basic idea we have had in order to promote the efforts from FEM. And of course, we need to work on entertainment, we need to work on education and then lifelong learning. The title you chose is directly connected to visual arts, knowledge, and know-how. These are some of the claims of the application of Modena. So Donatella, can you tell us more about these 2 points, if you don't mind? Thank you. Sure, thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much for putting together this meeting. My name is Donatella. Now, FEM, by the way, I have just a couple of pictures, okay, as a background to my words. Now, we are a competence or skills center, so we do training and education. It's a physical place. Okay, so it's a team of people. Okay, sorry, this is the other video. Oh, okay, so sorry, I changed them in the sequence on the flight. So it's a competence or skills center. It's a physical place, and it's a place where, the educating community, as Paolo said, this is where we meet. So once again, this is where we meet the educating community. We need to understand how learning techniques change. Digital environments can be improved, enhanced, and receive all of these skills. So the fact of, seeing Modena, send its application for this UNESCO program, well, this makes us very happy. One of the strategic programs, we have in FEM is exactly visual arts. So why are visual arts so important? They are important because it's a key skill for our citizens. They are so important for the professions, the jobs of the future, and they are fundamental because we want to have, aware, informed citizens, both online and offline. Okay, here we go. That's my slide. Now, behind me, you will see some pictures or photos of some of the educational activities we offer. So we have activities with schools in Modena and with, all of the citizens. This is the place where we work, AGO, AGO. Once again, this is a physical place where we produce products, where we make products. We offer contents and experiences. There are key values inside this building. We build communities, including the educating community. And one of the strategic programs is the one on visual arts. Now, society turned into the visual society today. So today we receive so many visual stimuli. What you can see here is planning or even programming, I should say. The result is visual art performances. In the previous video, we saw Quagliola, hosted by FNAP. This is the product, if you will, made in the primary but also the secondary school, so from 6 to 12 years of age. So programming or coding means building digital art masterpieces, understanding the codes of visual arts. is one of the professions for the future. But this is not just useful, if you will, to get a job, to make some cultural products. I have to say that as of today, this is an unavoidable, unmissable skill you have to be, a citizen, and it connects with many other topics. Visual arts are absolutely fundamental in order to increase and improve your skills in IT systems or even math. So these are visual codes that you find at the basis of many interactions with the society around us: architecture, engineering, building spaces, architecture, and then dwelling, so living in our spaces. This has to do also with the way we interact with people. For example, feeds from Instagram or TikTok or social media, well, they are filled, if you will, with feed. I mean, they are filled with codes which are implicit or, let's say, hidden, unless we understand how they are made. So once again, this is the reason why visual arts are much more than useful skills. They may be used if you want to become an artist or a professional in order to build cultural context. But I think they are a must-have for the societies of the future. It's one of the key skills of the 21st century. So what we do today, it aims at understanding, the basics of visual arts. I mean, this is our job, but at the same time, they are the real protagonists of new, I mean, let's say, digital education. We want to create the citizens of the future. This means understanding, I mean, how images, pictures, and then codes, visual codes, the circulation and dissemination of these images. Well, these are, right at the center of our social interactions with the rest of the society. So you can see here some of the display applications, if you will, of our artistic pathways. So there's an interaction between physical and digital. This is what happens every single day in our own activities. So this is much more, if you will, than a subject matter, something that, children do at school. But there's a steady, unstoppable integration, if you will, between the school communities on the one side and the rest of the institutions, including cultural institutions. All of this is absolutely unavoidable. You need to understand the IT codes. So you need to know how images are made. So is this a picture? Is this a real one? Or is there an algorithm behind it? We absolutely need to have high skills to understand, the codes with which we analyze media. Visual codes are one of the key ingredients for innovative teaching methods in order to create or raise awareness, engagement, and deeper insights. So once again, these are the pillars of the education of the future, as far as we are concerned. So once again, we are so happy we are included into this fantastic partnership. Thank you so much, Donatella. Okay, and I'm sorry for, sort of mismatching the videos. Anyway, from 06 to young boys and girls, the mayor talked about the plan we have for the youngsters. So this is what you do, right? Mail and data. You enhance the talents of our local community. And I'm sure you can do this also with media arts. Okay, so Lara Olivetti is the co-founder of Maila Theta. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy I'm here tonight in this nice context because I represent a company based in Modena working in the media arts industry. So I think that this application of the city of Modena is very important because I'm sure it can open up a very interesting scenarios and opportunities. Something very important for our local community. This is company I created with my partner Marcella. So Mela Theta was founded or incorporated 20 years ago. This was based on an idea or an intuition, some time ago. So 20 years ago, or so. We just wanted to transform every single subject or concept or service into a playful, engaging, fun-filled experience. So to do so, we decided to work on two specific media: animation on the one side and, playing on the other. Of course, in a digital way. So we do this with digital tools, and they are also distributed with digital tools as well. At that time, that was a big challenge. Oh, yes, it was so challenging because we needed to create all of these products with tools which were not as mature as they are today. Here in Modena, but also for Italy, that was a very advanced choice, if you will. And I think that, people now really consider, this universe as a proper industry. These industries are really able to create new jobs, different types of jobs, and they can really also have a major financial economic impact. This is Super SEMA of 2021. We are also mentioned. I mean, may later be considered as a cultural industry. So we also cooperate with video gaming systems, and video gaming are really skyrocketing. I have to say that during the COVID pandemic, this became a real strong platform. It's doing much better than social networks, and this is becoming, if you will, a cultural, socializing platform. If you will. And this fits into the so-called metaverse concept, which is one of the buzzwords these days. I have to say that in the world we have around 3 billion players, and this number is growing. So this is becoming a proper, let's say, full-size communication language. In Italy, we cooperate with the IDEA, so this is the Association of Video Game Developers. We are one of its members. So we are partnering, we are working with them, and we are encouraging the growth of, let's say, specific accelerators. So together with local institutions, these centers are being built these days because we want to create hubs in order to produce new video games. For example, in Bologna, we have just launched the Bologna Gaming Farm, supported by Incredible, which is one of the projects from the local region, Emilia-Romagna. In the Rome region, we have a Cinecittà hub. And as for, animations, in Sardinia, 3 years ago, they created the New Animation Sardinia program, or NAS. They create skills, but also proper animations, so products, together with so many, let's say, private initiatives. Well, I have to say that the reason why we put together animation and video games is because these are two digital arts, but quite often they go hand in hand. To make video games, we need animation, right? So quite often animation is based on a spin-off, for example, transmedial project, including gaming. Now, to do so, inside our team, we leverage the skills of creative specialists and developers. So we cooperate with the local Unimore, which is the local university, and we also cooperate with neighboring universities, and we also started projects with other universities in the rest of the country. As you can see here, we create this type of projects, so animation-based games. That this is not pure entertainment. This is not, let's say, commercial systems, but let's say we use these two distinctive arts to try and create both products and services aiming at social communication, marketing communications, and also educational communication systems. So these products are targeted or aimed at adolescents, but also young adults. It's basically augmented reality, virtual reality-based applications, which is what you can see in the video here on the screen. Now, these systems basically are created for local institutions, but also for European projects. In many cases, we also do this for major brands. I think there's another key point I'd like to draw your attention on, which is what I want to highlight now. It is not by chance that Nella Zeta was incorporated here in Modena, because the gaming culture is a pervasive one in many different fashions. And, furthermore, as for illustrations or again cartoons, we do have a very important school here, a very important tradition we have in Modena. So we just transformed this kind of school into physical products that you can see here. Okay, this is my last point. Once again, I'm really so happy for this application of the street of Modena. And I have to say that this can really, really open up a brand new, interesting perspective because it enhances the ecosystem that we have here. So plenty of projects, public initiatives which are being managed here in Modena. But at the same time, this can also become a sort of a spur, if you will, a sort of an encouragement to create partnerships between private companies and public institutions. As a consequence, I think that we will be able to enhance our own skills together with the skills of many other people. This is something that we can count on here in Modena. We already have so many, but we can create new skills. And why not? We can enhance and empower these new types of arts, which are a little bit in the shadow, or maybe they are a little peculiar. So really would like to thank Mr. Berto Lamasi and other partnering institutions for this very kind invitation. Congratulations for the commitment and engagement for the application of the City of Modena. Thank you. Lara Olivette, Donatella Sonda, thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite the president of ATER, ATEA, Patrizia Ghedini, and Professor Rita Cucchiara. Now, this is one of the topics that we went through already in the previous meeting. We talked about performing arts, dance, and then drama. Basically, I have to say that they sort of speeded up. They've been accelerated also because of the pandemic restrictions. So I think that they had to come to terms with a new language, and so with new, let's say, unexpected situations. On the other side, we keep talking about artificial intelligence and natural intelligence. This kind of clash, one of the hottest topics these years. Let me start off with the president of ATER, ATEA. Welcome to Modena. So no calls, no screens, and at last I can see you. I'd like to know what you think about the development of technological innovations and digital innovations as well, in terms of performing arts, the theaters, and drama, and for the whole, let's say, cultural ecosystem. Thank you so much. Thank you for this very kind invitation. Good evening, everyone. Now, together with Rita, we said that it's a pleasure for us to be here. I mean, sharing the stage. Now, I have no PowerPoint presentations. I have no pictures. I have, let's say, words and concepts I'd like to share with you today. Now, this foundation was an association until a while ago. We didn't do many, let's say, digital projects until a while ago. So this was a gap of ours. We now try and bridge the gap. So I'm here to talk about live performing arts, so live shows. I'm not talking about a major theater or a big company. Sometimes it's easier, let's say, to get funds and also to implement specific, digital actions. For example, promoting visual. So maybe for them, life it's a little easier. Now, ATER, ATER is a foundation. We develop our business basically in 3 key areas, which is what you can see here. So this is what we've been doing for 50 years, live shows. And I have to say that Modena was, let's say, the first founding member. I'm talking about the city of Modena. That was back in 1964. I have to say that this is the different perspective because this is not what I said before. This is not just an important theater, if you will. It is rather a network of theaters. Let me tell you that our activities are based, on three different areas. First of all, we have a multidisciplinary system, thanks to which we, promote shows, basically. And, within that, let's say, area, we develop projects with partnering members. Um, we also have many other theaters in small and medium places or towns with plenty of, if you will, problems of local administrations when they are so small. Now, you think that digital systems are an opportunity for all, including for those people or populations living, in a remote location? Well, we don't have many remote locations here in our region, but of course, we don't have the same opportunities. I mean, there's a big difference between, large metropolitan urban areas on the one side and small villages, perched on the top of the mountains on the other. So once again, we manage 12 theaters, and what we do is plenty of projects, if you will, institutional projects. For example, we have a sort of think tank that we manage with regional authorities. But at the same time, we have theme-based networks. In this case, I have to say that technologies were so helpful. I also have to say that we started just a while ago. I mean, being appointed 1.5 years ago only. So we have just started a new activity. So we promote our activities abroad. Now, this is something unprecedented for us. So we try and encourage, the creation of shows also abroad. I will focus on three key points very quickly now. This is Teatri nella Rete, theaters in the network. And okay, here we go. Now, this is a great example for us. So ours is a foundation. So we are not the typical big foundation belonging to a big theater. We now manage 12 small theaters. We use new technologies, but we don't have any digital tradition behind us. Now, during lockdown, I have to say that we reacted very quickly without having a huge budget. But anyway, we made 11, premiere shows. So in all the theaters, we had the webinars with the artists and the audience, the backstage shows, and even interviews to make sure people could familiarize with our theaters, their stories, and the hosting cities. We also have developed, some so-called, let's say, in-theater shows in the Correggio Theater, whose name is Teatro Asioli. This is something we did in every single theater. Now, of course, there are some differences here and there, but we have created shows for children and families. So once again, the theater for us is a place where you can really experiment new feelings and actions with the rest of the audience. We did something very, friendly and simple. Once again, don't forget that we have to manage 12 different theaters. For example, here we have a beautiful Advent calendar with 70,000, views, and it filled our hearts with happiness. We also have the so-called School of Fantasy with, labs, workshops, shows, meetings, and videos. We also had plenty of Zoom-based lessons on the contemporary dance. We also had another project for movie theaters. So the network includes so many initiatives, and I have to say that we have a total of 250,000 views. Believe me, for us, this is a great outcome. So what do we do now? What are we doing right now in terms of technologies? I have to say that this is one of the projects we're now working on. We are cabling all the theaters we manage. So I'm talking about fiber optics. The name of this fiber optics network is LEPIDA, because of course we want theaters to do multimedia shows and they have to be cross-functional. Of course, we want to have a reliable internet connection. So why are we doing this? Well, this is really very important for us, because we want to, connect, of course, to the fiber optics. To the, let's say, center that manages all the equipment in the theater, so the so-called control room. Um, we are able now to have different setups and layouts, and we can once again strengthen and deepen relationships with the audience, thus increasing audience. Okay, I think this is my last slide, if I'm not mistaken. You can see here all of our theaters. You can see here the names of the theaters, the names of the cities.
So as you can see, we are also trying to create a digital platform, multi-purpose digital platform, in order to make sure that all the documents can be consulted. There are many documents deposited at the regional archive. At the moment, they are in paper format, so we would like to have them digital. Why that? Of course, the objectives are, first of all, to safeguard, to promote the value and also spread out the value of this artistic heritage, promote the interaction with other portals, and also in order to support the potentials of these documents and promote them abroad. And also we would like to have this new archive in order to keep this huge amount of materials and guarantee the possibility to consult these documents and also use from different devices. And now I'd like to conclude by saying that in the last few months, we have also totally renewed our portal, our webpage. I'd like to invite you to visit our page. And again, obviously, as I said, focus on the digital technologies. You know, we want to be present in the territory, and we also have many players, small and medium-sized players. Thank you. Thank you, President Ghettini. So we've been talking about data, metadata, and how to allow this enormous amount of documents and heritage to be accessible to people. And well, you know what technological innovation, digital intelligence can do is, well, they can certainly allow our heritage and documents to be well, available to everybody. So now talking about artificial intelligence applied to creativity and culture, I'd like to leave the floor to the next speaker. We said that Modena is the place where an engineer and an artist can talk to each other. Let's leave the floor to the next speaker. Well, thank you. Thank you for the very kind invitation. And well, I'm extremely excited to be here. I think this is one of the most beautiful challenges we could face. Well, you know, Modena is really part of the world. I live in Modena and I love living here. You know, Modena is famous for engines, motors, the automotive, etc. But I'd like to remind you that in 2018, a document came out. It was called The Great Beauty. It was about the cultural heritage and creative cultural industry. Well, there was a nice green dot on Modena, which said that this is an area where we have a huge cultural heritage. We also have tourism, of course. We also have great cooking schools, and we also have cultural creative industries, as Lara said. I think this is extremely important. because we can't live without all these opportunities, and these are opportunities also in order to have technology supporting our society but also our economy, the economy of creative and cultural industries, and especially this link between artificial intelligence, creativity and culture. This is not just a slogan. Well, in the last few months, I've been working together with the government. We have written the national plan for 21-26. And now the first economic support and funds are given. We have written a chapter on artificial intelligence for creativity. I think that the future is about technologies, but technologies that go hand in hand with human beings and the human soul. So, this is a technology. I'm referring to artificial intelligence. This is an evolving technology which has ancient roots, especially in the field of the media. In Modena, we're working a lot in the field of artificial intelligence. At that time, the current mayor was a councillor, and he helped us create a multimedia lab. I've always been working with images, videos. Let's remember that Google has YouTube, Netflix also works on this. So this is really, bond between artificial intelligence and the media. If we also add the arts, we will understand that artificial intelligence, just like any other technologies, is here in order to help human beings. Now, with only a couple of slides, I'd like to show you what we are doing at the moment. And I think that we will absolutely continue also in the future. This is only a starting point for our city and our country, really. So there are four main points where the AI and the media and the arts are living together. First one is data analytics. As the councillor said earlier, there's a lot of data. Of course, we are digitalizing everything. We are now having a digital transformation revolution. We have a huge quantity of artistic, creative data that we are digitalizing, and then we will have to extrapolate the knowledge from that. And AI helps us get information from this huge amount of data. Well, thank you also for showing this project in the video. This is a project that we're carrying out together with the Fondazione. We are trying to interpret ancient writings. And actually, we also including Leopardi, which is not so ancient. So AI and media, these are solutions for a better engagement of tourists. And actually, 2 years ago at the Festival of Philosophy, thanks to the Fondazione and my students, we created this sort of game. You have to look for similarities between people and famous paintings. I'm quite proud of this. The world was trying to do the opposite at that time. So they were trying to make human people, real people, more similar to paintings, but actually we tried to do the opposite. We tried to see how paintings from the 17th century, for example, could be more modern by putting them next to the face of people from Modena. So I would also like to show you some social robots. We would like to have some little robots talking to tourists. As somebody said, the AI is also creative. I'd like to invite you to visit this webpage called aiartists.org. This is the association of the artificial intelligence as made by artists. Of course, behind all of it, there are some human beings. These are works of art created by machine learning systems. Obviously, this happens all around the world, but also here in Modena. In 2 days, we will have a video artist here, Mr. Thiel. She uses artificial intelligence, and we met together. We have many similarities. We agree on how to use AI technologies. She uses AI technologies in order to create some works of art. And she presented her works of art all around the world. So AI as a tool in order to create a culture and also art. And then last, I'd like to go back to our mayor's speech. IT technologies and AI specifically can be used a lot in order to rethink about our cities, in order to rethink about the world and how we could live in the world. So if you want to click on the black part, there's a video, actually, if we can have a look at the video. And please, I'm asking the technicians, otherwise we will just stick to the image. Yes, that's it. No, that's too fast. Okay, so the image is fine. So this image, by the way, this is a fake image. Actually, it was created by a machine learning system that took some images of Bologna, Venice, Florence, different Italian cities, and then it created some videos guided by the voice of a human being reading some poems about the cities. So by reading some poems on Milan, it created a video representing the city. On Sunday, we showed this video at the Biennale of Architecture. Well, I thought I wanted to talk to you about it, just to show how important it is to join together, to put together creativity, technological skills, and IT skills. We always create something new, and we also think about the future. And this is really the end for my speech. This is a major challenge for the future of Modena, of our children, and all of us. So thank you again. Thanks to the municipality of Modena for this. Thank you. And now we're going to switch to the last speakers. Thank you, Patrizia and Rita. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Luca Baraldi from Amagamma. Well, this is a very innovative company. And then Costanza Ferrarini from Fondazione Alessandro Volta from Como. Como, as we know, is a city that together with Modena has been selected by the UNESCO. This is actually a different cluster, but well, you know, we both have been selected in order to well, to go to Paris, and we wanted to have them here. Well, we wanted to have Como here. Como is also another great example of a city that is trying to recover from the pandemic by investing in culture and creativity. Welcome back, Luca. You are a dear guest of ours. Let's continue with this dialogue on artificial intelligence, creativity, and so let's continue along this journey inside culture or along culture and innovation. Well, thank you. Thank you for your very kind invitation. Thanks to the previous speakers. I'm not a citizen of Modena. I live in the province of Modena, but I'd like to express my gratitude for all these projects. A project like this one really lays the foundations for repositioning our territory in terms of well, building networks, creating international cooperations, and also creating the reputation of this territory. This is a territory that is always willing to learn something new. So I represent Amagamma. This is a company for artificial intelligence, applied mathematics. We are located in Modena, and for almost 8 years, we have been working in order to have the possibility to introduce artificial intelligence within all companies or corporations in all sectors. And what we are trying to develop, what we're trying to do, we're very proud of it actually, is we are trying to bring artificial intelligence to little companies in the outskirts, to major corporations that are more international. So we're really trying to bring artificial intelligence everywhere to all sorts of companies. We are really willing to do it, and we try to support companies that desire to change themselves and that are looking at the future. I'm going to make a few reflections today in a way. I will try to give some. I will try to give you some hints, and then Professor Ferrari will speak after me. Well, the first thing we should focus on is this one, the following one. Well, today when we talk about artificial intelligence, we're not just talking about technological evolution, but actually this is a real epistemological revolution. We're changing the way in which we know things. We are opening up to new possibilities. We are understanding reality in a totally different way, something that was unthinkable until a few years ago. This is why we should think about the impact of these new codes. The previous speakers talked about education. So we should wonder, what is the impact of these new tools? There are some invisible correlations among these new phenomena. So now we're going beyond our limits, really. So on this slide, I'm trying to show you 3 new switches, 3 new shifts. Well, now that we have Modena as a candidate city guided by the media arts, we have the opportunity to go over the concept of the city as something static, but actually the city has to be seen as an ecosystem of relations. So Bronzeri, 40 years ago, was already talking about it. He said that a city should be considered as a living ecosystem, taking into consideration data, so static data, but also trying to take into account the dynamic relations among the people that live in the city. Therefore, now we have to accept more responsibilities as citizens. We have to accept this democratic responsibility. And when we use media arts as a tool for interpreting reality, digital tools, artificial intelligence, the possibility to use math as a tool to understand reality, well, this allows us to overcome the open governance. So now we really have the opportunity to have a democratic participation of citizens in the life of our city. Citizens, until some time ago, were players. We needed some intermediate players, though, but now we don't need those intermediate players anymore. Citizens can express themselves, and therefore citizens now have the opportunity to have a direct dialogue with the other citizens and with the city. And then thirdly, we can use artificial intelligence as a tool to make things more efficient. Amagama was born in order to use artificial intelligence in order to reduce consumption, improve production processes, reduce the production of waste. And now artificial intelligence is an epistemological tool. So artificial intelligence that is available to everybody now, also through these smartphones, artificial intelligence allows us to know more and better. On this next slide, we see where we are now. We have in front of us this tool that allows us to know the reality better, all the dynamics of our reality. We see the contradictions, the real problems of our reality, and probably we haven't managed to understand all the problems of our reality so far. And I'm going to show you this other slide that shows us that technologies can nowadays be used in order to activate a new dimension based on a new participation of citizens. Therefore, creative society that is really creative. A city like Modena that is a creative opens up to a new space of collective imagination. Imagination now acquires a new meaning. It's not just an invention disconnected from the city, but actually imagination as the possibility to formulate some images for our future in order to really improve the life of the city. Imagination becomes a tool in order to adjust to transformation. And therefore, we have the ability to better interpret, understand, and also better represent the city for the future. And therefore, the arts become a tool in order to educate our citizens to the future. Artificial intelligence as a tool in order to share knowledge and imagination. And therefore, I'm going to conclude by saying that this creative city becomes a context in order to attract this collective imagination that can really allow us to create a new future that goes beyond the limitations and possibilities, new possibilities that were unthinkable until nowadays. Well, thank you, Luca. Thank you. We have, created a bridge between artificial intelligence and the city. The network of UNESCO Creative Cities is a network that joins together small cities, metropolitan cities, huge cities. Therefore, this is really a cross-cut dimension. And during the last year and a half, we're going probably out of this tunnel at last. We've really understood that cities are a pillar. Cities are a pillar for our countries and a point of reference for our institutions. I'd like to welcome Costanza Ferrarini from the Fondazione Alessandro Volta from Como. As we said, Como was selected together with Modena. We will have and we have a new challenges, new chances for collaboration, and cooperation is one of the 17 goals. You said it all already, and I'd just like to thank you. This is all on behalf of Como, which I'm here to represent. So I'm here as a representative of the city of Como. For sure, for us and also for my colleagues following us in streaming. This has been a great opportunity in order to get to know Modena better, all your projects. I'd like to congratulate you on your projects. This is really great for Italy as a country. We have no representative city in the field of media arts, and therefore this is fundamental. So thank you. This is very important for us at international level. As we said, Como is a candidate country for Faber, so especially for the textile sector. And Como is a leading city representing the textile cluster of Como and Lecco. So Lecco, so it's not just Como, but also Lecco. And we're here today in order to confirm our alliance, our collaboration with you, in the hope to be able to keep on collaborating with you as part of the network, starting from day one. Hopefully, we will be selected, and for sure, for sure, this is something that no other city ever did before after this health emergency. One of the key topics that we have presented is for sure the topic of restarting, recovering and restarting. As we all know, the concept of restarting is very important for the entire manufacturing sector, production sector. And when we talk about the Made in Italy field, Made in Italy, we all need to make sure that we manage to digitalize our sector and also culture, not just manufacturing, but also culture. I'd like to conclude by saying that our cities, Modena, but also Como, for sure, we had to face this unprecedented crisis. And for sure, our two cities can be seen as complementary cities. This is all from me. Thank you for your very kind invitation. Thank you for accepting the invitation, Costanza. Thank you, Luca. And now we're going towards the end of our evening together. And well, I feel quite emotional because now I think we have Professor Maurizio Ferrari is connected with us. Well, I have the honor to introduce him right now. As we said, this week, the Festival of Philosophy will start in Modena. And so I'd like to greet Mr. Francesconi, who's sitting here with us in the audience. Well, Mr. Ferraris, thank you for accepting the invitation. You are a top expert. You are a theoretical philosopher. So thank you for accepting our invitation to come here today. This is clearly something very important for us. As we said, a Modena candidate city. This is well, something very meaningful for us, for this city. This is a challenge for our city. Well, thank you. Thank you for...
Okay, then I couldn't hear some parts of the meetings. Anyway, I'm really so happy and glad for being invited by Mr. Francesconi for this beautiful initiative. I would like to talk about a paradox, so an apparent paradox. So we're talking about creative cities, right? We may say, well, if you see a person, can you tell him or her, please be creative? You can say, be kind, be polite, be hardworking. But I don't think you can say, please be creative, right? I mean, of course, there can be a creative education or education on creativity, but how can you say, please be creative now? It's a paradox, but maybe now we found the key, so the solution. To do so, let me talk about the philosophy festival, which is about to start. So the mayor talked about freedom. We may say, so why talking about freedom in a moment where, or in a time where so many people say that we are real slaves of technology? I mean, we depend on technology. Web is controlling us, monitoring all what we do. So why talking about freedom? Well, there are excellent reasons why we should be talking about freedom. And what we heard before is a proof of this. Now, the previous speaker from Como talked about home well, in a very specific way, because, I mean, These are, let's say, sort of, craftsmanship examples. But I think that we are no longer able to have some of these homo faber. They are disappearing, and then they are well disappearing here, but also disappearing a little bit somewhere else. And this is because of artificial intelligence. So, in artificial intelligence, triggers automation, which in turn entails a major transformation. If you have a low level of automation, like in the past, well, human beings create, relationships with technology as if, a human being was a machine. It sounds like a paradox, but we say that, automation makes us machines. Well, the opposite happens. I mean, if you have a high level of sophistication of technologies, well, people say that we have to do what machines are doing. If you work along an assembly line, or for example, even if you just type, on the the keyboard of your computer, well, all of this can be replaced today by a machine. So that kind of Homo faber, and it was also represented in a very well old coin here in Italy, an old 50 lira coin. Well, this is a person we do not need any longer. So why don't we need that person? Why don't we need that job? Well, because of automation. So what can be created thanks to automation? So what does automation create? I'm not talking about creativity as such. Now, automation doesn't mean we become creative. Right? So automation, in my opinion, means that we allow a machine to behave like a human being, also in very simple activities. For example, you use, a machine to pull a cart. You can also ask a human being to do the same, right? So if this level of automation becomes sophisticated, or the more sophisticated it becomes, the more it needs human beings. So today, the web records all of our interactions, especially during the pandemic. Well, all of the forms of human life are now shown on the web. So in terms of different forms of human life. So once again, this is not necessarily creativity. So this is the human life of everyone. So our life is not necessarily creative, but there's a uniqueness going on. I mean, only human beings have that kind of life. This is something that other living beings don't do. And of course, machines don't die. Machines are not happy. Machines don't have machines. I mean, we use technologies, but technologies can't use other technologies. So I'm not really talking again about creativity as such. Let's say we activate web-based human resources. This is a general overarching phenomenon, but this phenomenon has to be understood. We may say there are many jobs that are due to disappear, but we have to state that there's a relationship between a human being and the web. But this is one of the key points of web. We are not the slaves of technology. I mean, as soon as I disappear, technology disappears, right? I can imagine a world with no web, which is the world where I was born. I can't think of a web without human beings because we attach a meaning to the web. We need to recognize this because if you do so, you can really find the right resource for the right digital welfare. This digital welfare is a sort of a booster, a driver for creativity. Let me rephrase this. We are used to imagine a relationship with platforms, so just like a peer-to-peer relationship. So once again, I give information to the platform, and then the platform gives information back to me. Sometimes people think or fear that the platforms, may spy, so they may want to be sort of a big brother on us. This relationship is totally unbalanced. It is biased. It is in favor of the platform. I receive information, but the platform receives much more information. The platform owns information. It can compare this with million data sets, so pieces of information. So this means, Just think of the automatic translators. They work quite well because the human beings are giving a contribution. So we all work together to generate this. So we need to recognize and identify the activation of humans on the web in terms of makers of value. So we produce value. So from the platforms, I can derive resources. This is what the welfare systems obtain to buy industrial items because they have been replaced by machines. So we can create the real creativity. Of course, there are some places where they really have a big advantage of this. It is not by chance that we are talking about the city of Modena. So yes, we are famous in the world. My name is Ferraris. I have a very simple system. So wherever I go, I have a very simple system. When they want to have the spelling of my name, I say just like the car with the final S, Ferraris. Everyone understands my family name from China to Patagonia. Well, sorry, I've never been to Patagonia actually, but this is the problem. When we have resources that we can really invest in education, well, this creates a growth and a development. In that case, we do have creativity, and this is something that I must have heard about some time ago, and we kept talking about this tonight. So people said that you cannot teach creativity, but of course you can enhance it. Let's say you can really trigger conditions favorable for its development. And of course, to do so, it takes plenty of ingredients of time. And yes, so we do have time because we do no longer have to work on an assembly line. And at the same time, we have to have a structure, stimuli, and so on. This is really fundamental because if we understand then the activation of human beings on the web, well, this is not creative as such. I'm not creative. I mean, when I check, the train's timetable, I'm not creative where, for example, well, I don't know, when I watch a film, right, I am very passive. I mean, I'm using that something. But, that kind of, activation triggers value. It creates value. This value is like a sort of a recycling system. It's a circle because even the low level consumption can be enhanced. It can be transformed into a resource that in turn will create culture. I have to say that under this perspective, I'm really thinking of humanities, the human beings, from Homo faber to Homo sapiens. I mean, Homo sapiens has something specific. It was a sort of a war fought against the Neanderthal. Anyway, men have never been, hard workers in terms of, repeating the same actions. I mean, before in farming, the situation was different. No one would like to go back to hunters and pickers. I mean, they sort of, well, lived very well, but, they died when they were more or less 40. So they would have died already 25 years ago. What is interesting is that now we can move towards the society of Homo sapiens. This is not a given. I remember when we invented the web, people say, now we create collective intelligence. I don't think so. We all have become kind of, stupid when everyone expresses himself or herself. Well, some very stupid things may be written or said. Now, we have to be able to acknowledge the work done by the human beings on the web. We can derive value from this huge budget, and then we can turn this into welfare. Well, in that very case, we do have the right resources, to educate, human beings, but also to solve the problems of the environment. Of course, they cannot be solved by going back to old technologies. What we need is developed, more evolved technologies. Well, I hope you can hear this round of applause for you. It was a privilege, and of course, Mr. Ferraris, I hope to see you soon here in Modena. And so no matter what the outcome of the application is, now, of course, we are striving, working to make sure we can win. But of course, please come to Modena and keep talking about this interesting food for thought. There are so many specific features here in Modena. Thank you for talking about this. Thank you for your virtual presence. Thank you so much. Once again, we look forward to seeing you here in Modena. Okay, then I think it's time to wrap up. And well, we have a great opportunity here. We have a beautiful park, and it's still quite warm. Can we invite Chester to the artist? So thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for your, well, for making yourself available in a cooperation with, Lode, which is one of the most important festivals. Once again, this is one of the most important festivals, not locally, but also nationally, in terms of electronic music and the cross contamination between the media arts and the visual arts. We had to take a break because of COVID. So I hope that in November, and by the way, we're already working to put together this beautiful show in November to catch up what we lost. Okay, let me give you the floor for a very short introduction, and then I'm sure you will, put together your electronic performance. Okay, we need to change, let's say, some technical conditions here for the show. My name is Alberto Mello. I'm a new media artist. I am a nuclear physics, and I also teach at the conservatory in Padua. Um, I work on laser systems. Creativity for me is observing something which is very simple, but under a different point of view. Let's say a new light, a new perspective of what we usually don't observe. Or maybe we observe those things, but in a very superficial way. I do the same thing with lasers. I'm sure you have some experience with lasers. You must have seen them with smoke, very beautiful colored horizontal plans or slices controlled by computers. I'm doing the opposite. I build some custom-made electronic systems. I don't have a smoke machine. I'm not using them with a computer, and I obtain something different that I am about to show. This is laser drawing. Now, of course, I'm sure that it's now time for dinner, so the show will be very short. I'm traveling around the world, I mean, with this show, and which is what I'm doing right now. So the laser is projected onto in a wide screen. It can be moved very quickly. It turns into a line, a plane, a shape, or an image. I use two signals, horizontal and vertical, so Y and X, to create the colored forms of shapes you will see in a minute. The same signals are sent to the loudspeakers, then they are turned into sound. So you receive the same signal, let's say the same entity, thanks to your sight, but also hearing. So this is a kinesthetic reality merging two different senses. Well, this is quite interesting for me, because I'm aware of the fact that, well, lately we do not pay attention to sound, and we are so, let's say, focused on the visual part, so visual parts. So for me, this is a brand new, unique way to reconnect people through sound, thanks to this visual, say, appearance or manifestation. I usually summarize the show saying that the audience, observes the sound and listens to the light. Okay, it is a visual listening. Okay, so it is a connection between two senses. This is the last speech tonight. So let me thank the organizers, the city of Modena, the culture departments, and then our boys and girls from the festival. They've been doing media art for many, many years by now. I also would now to congratulate with Modena for being selected as a creative UNESCO city. And I really, really touch words. I'm sure you will win. Thank you. Okay, then let me say goodbye now. I mean, before the music, we will close officially with Alberto's performance. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'd like to thank the guests, the promoting committee. That was a nice journey tonight, and the journey continues, by the way. We will also be attending the UNESCO Forum in the city of Carrara, and I think that the whole city tonight is represented by speakers and guests. And it's a nice message. I mean, we would like to restart after COVID. So once again, really would like to thank the technicians, audio sound engineers, people who are working behind the scenes for this event. And these are people who still paying a very high price because of the lockdowns and the COVID restrictions. So I hope that, by the way, this is what we did last summer. So we have to keep, cultural places alive and open. Culture means many things, especially plenty of, it's an important industry. I mean, it has so many jobs we need to have and to give the right guarantee. So these operators have to be able to keep going. We need to reopen theaters and movie theaters. When we close theaters, well, the entire city is poorer than before, and we don't want to do this. The floor goes, well, actually, the sound goes to Alberto. Once again, thank you so much for your presence here tonight. Thank you. Bye-bye. Arrivederci.
Recording stopped.